What's up everyone, Nukin here and welcome back to my channel. I have some important announcements that I want to share with everyone. This guy is part of it, so we're going to talk about some quality of life changes, some territory war changes, and potentially being able to unlock this guy because we're getting a new Sith Raid. So that's right, we're getting a new Sith Raid, and we're gonna talk about that in just a second. So I'm gonna go over this forum post with you guys and kind of give you a little bit of commentary about what I thought about after reading this. This is the second time looking it over, so let's kind of break this down together. So let's check this out. So the road ahead post. So this is not coming out like in the next content patch, but it's coming out in the future. So as we embark on a new year, it's time to talk again about some of the changes planned in the near-term future of Galaxy of Heroes. And so here's a sneak peek of what's to come, a new Sith Raid. So we have this picture here. I didn't play the Knights of the Old Republic, so maybe someone who did might think that this picture is familiar, but it doesn't really mean anything to me except for it looks really cool. And let's keep going down here. We're extremely excited to announce that we're working on bringing you a brand new raid experience. So we have the Rancor raid, and that was the first raid that came out, and then we had the Tank raid, and that's been out for a while now, more than a year. So we were due for a new raid, and here we go. We're gonna face some new guys here. This new raid takes place in the Old Republic timeline. So I didn't play Knights of the Old Republic, but I know a lot of people that play this game did. You're gonna face the Sith triumvirate, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, who was in the intro, and Darth Traya. So I'm not super familiar with the lore, but I think Darth Traya was the master and the other two guys were like her apprentices, so maybe she's the final boss or something. Hopefully I didn't get that wrong. Anyways, so they're saying that expect to see more updates on what the content will look like. So we're gonna keep getting more, teasers of what's to come up. So that's our first little announcement here. A new Sith Raid. Pretty cool. Raids are probably the best thing that are in this game right now. There's a lot of potential for raids. So let's talk about the next thing, quality of life improvement. All right, so let's talk about some quality of life now. So let's take a look at what they're trying to do here. So they're of course interested in bringing new content, they say here, but they also want to improve the existing game experience for players. So that's what it says right here. So let's look at what they're going to be doing here. So first off, let's talk about the fix to raid tickets display. So last month they did a partial rollout fix of this, and looks like they're going to be bringing out the full fix with this new quality of life patch. Now what this does is it saves the officers and guild leaders a lot of time, because some of these guilds require a certain amount of participation in terms of the tickets of their members, whether it be 200, 400, or 600. Most guilds strive for that 600 a day from every member, so you can get 30k tickets a day, so you can raid as much as possible. And if you're not in a guild that's not getting 30k a day, I suggest you move, especially when this new raid drops, because you're definitely going to want to raid as much as possible. So that is the raid tickets display there. And then let's talk about additional simming. So simming is probably the biggest way to save time, and that's what they're trying to do here. So what's super interesting is Galactic War is gonna now be simmable. It says here that apparently, according to their data, it's one of the largest player time sinks in the game, and they're looking to change that. So it says here, after beating Galactic War a certain number of times, the entire Galactic War will be simmable for full rewards. So a bunch of people were suggesting being able to sim Galactic War, and they would do it even if they gave you know, partial rewards, and they're giving you full rewards. So that's cool. And you know, maybe a lot of people miss that sandbox experience, so maybe they can bring up the difficulty back to what it was before, so they can have that experience. And if they don't choose to want to, you know, have that sandbox, then they can just sim it for full rewards. So that's interesting. Also, we're gonna do more multi-simming here. So remember when they did that quality of life patch and you got to multi-sim all of the regular challenges? Well, now they forgot to do the ship challenges, or maybe they didn't forget, but now you can multi-sim ship challenges, which was not as bad of a deal because there was only like 3 challenges, but that's a nice welcome change. And the credit heist and the training droid events will now also be simmable. So a little bit of time savings there. So very, very, very cool. And now the last thing here is the pre-battle text search. This is a huge quality of life feature. So as you collect all the characters and heroes in the game, it becomes super tedious to kind of scroll through, and you know, sometimes you even pass the hero that you're looking for because you're too busy trying to scroll up and down furiously, especially if you're in a rush, like in the middle of a raid or something, and or scrambling to get into a territory war battle. And now there's going to be a search function. So it says searches for any character name or tag. So I guess you can just like type Empire and all the Empire units will just show up instead, or you can just specifically type in like Darth Vader or Vader and he should show up. So very cool. It will help you more easily kind of find the characters that you're actually wanting to use. So those are some super nice quality of life changes. Let's move into the last point here, which is about territory wars now. Alright, so let's talk about the last thing, which is territory war changes that are coming to the game. So the first point is successful defenses. So one of the most enjoyable experiences for territory wars from myself and a highlight of a lot of people that I've talked to were to look at their team and see, you know, how many teams they could kind of take on. And some people would be like, oh, my team took out like 3 teams, and my team took out like 5 or 10 battles were attempted against my team. And you know, seeing like your team of like 3 or 4 units like dangling by a sliver of health and still kind of holding well, that was a nice experience for a lot of people. And now you don't even need to be online to know kind of how you did, because it says here, displaying the number of defenses that each squad has had to help inform your territory wars experience. So I'm assuming that there'll be a little thing that says, you know, 9 teams tried to attempt to take out your team. So pretty cool there. Now there's going to be another point about tiebreakers here that we should discuss. So according to their data, 2% of the battles are currently ending in ties. So that is disproportionate. Now we all know that there's the Chewbacca defense that some other guilds can do, where they on purpose set weak defense. So I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore because they're going to be leveraging successful defenses here. So it says we're introducing extra banners for beating a defensive squad for the first time. So this means when 2 teams have a tie, the one that has the fewest losses will win. So you can no longer kind of cheese your opponent with that Chewbacca defense. And even if you were, both guilds were legitimately trying and there was a 2% kind of tie there will no longer ever kind of be a tie because they have a tiebreaker, which is, it's good to always have some sort of tiebreaker system. Whether that is the best system to have remains to be seen, but I think it's a welcome change, I suppose. And now the last point here is increasing defensive squads for top guilds. So as top guilds have so many squads, the average 4 defensive squads per player isn't allowing some of these top guilds to fully kind of demonstrate the strength of their rosters. So This kind of pertains to the guilds that I suppose have more than 140 or 150 or 160 million GP, so big boy guilds. And I guess what they're going to do here is to make it a little bit more challenging. And we're going to, it says here, they're going to increase the number of defensive squads required per person at the top tier of play. So there's 25 teams that you can put per territory. So instead of increasing the amount of territories required to put units, they're just going to increase the maximum, I suppose, of 25 to some sort of larger number, so that they're going to put more than just 4 defensive squads per player, because if you take 50 players and you put 4 teams on all the territories, it will fill up all the territories currently. That's going to be interesting. I do kind of fall into this category here, and I'm already kind of stretched pretty thin, and I didn't really ask for this feature, but I guess some other people did, so yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's see here. There are more fixes and improvements coming to the quality of life release, and so there's going to be more to look forward to. These are just some big highlights to look at. So what do you guys think? Well, that's about all that I wanted to cover today. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you excited about some of these quality of life changes, being able to sim Galactic War and the credit heist and some of that stuff? What do you think about the territory war changes? And are you pumped to fight against Darth Sion over here and maybe even collect him? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.